Hello, I am Brenda Power, Brenda Jean Power. I'm a medicine woman, and I'm doing Medicine Woman Solution. Spirit told me to get on and to do a few things, and it's like, okay, so here I am. But the energy that's coming to me this morning isn't of happy thoughts, it's of ill will. And so, hello. And so somebody is like kind of wishing me bad thoughts. Somebody's angry, somebody is wishing me bad thoughts. And so I'm picking it up anyway. And my punishment, and that shouldn't matter, should it? It's important that you understand energies. When you begin to do the spiritual path, you have got to learn for yourself of your temperaments, whether you're intuitive or that you, well, I can't think of all of them right now, except for the fact is that there's introvert and extrovert. I'm an introvert. I've healed so much stuff that I actually can do extrovert things, but only for a very short period of time. I can only take on that energy. And so anyways, it's your temperaments. And if you look at Myers-Briggs, there's all of these beautiful ways that people can be put together, like 16 different ways. And you can use those as guidelines, as shadows and positive aspects. And people like only read the horoscope. Oh, it's a good day. Okay, fine. But what do you get when you look at Myers-Briggs and you look at all of these different elements that help you be who you are? And the best thing for you to say is that if you look at the shadows, it's not about going, oh my God, I've got those. It is, I came in this world and this is what I got to work on. And it's so important to understand that. So that's one of the things that I have done is a look through astrology, look through Myers-Briggs, looks through archetypes, looks through, there's other things that I'll be teaching you. And you look at the shadow, it's not about blaming, shaming. It is like, okay, I can see that. I can see where I'm lacking that. And then there's the obvious. So one of the things I'm going to be teaching is the first of the year is, I believe it's going to be called Empowerment Through Enlightenment. But what it is that you don't know how to really wake up until you've learned how to get that enlightenment. You can be empowered to do all that you want, think positive, act positive, do gratefulness, do kind things, but that doesn't change your temperament. So one of the things that I would be teaching is to look at these parts about yourself where people say, oh my God, don't pick a scab, don't do this, don't be pointing out flaws. And this is why a lot of people will run away. But if you're serious and you really don't like the behavior of your life or the behavior of people around you, or if you don't realize the self-talk that you do, everything you do when it comes to thought is a spell. You enhance that to make things happen, becoming in vibrational alignment with your life, and what shows up has everything to do with what's going on inside of you. And you have the past lives, all the lives that your soul has decided to dream and to be, and say, okay, I'm going to try to solve a problem this way. I'm going to look at it through this perspective. Maybe in next life, I'll become a man that lives in India or something. Because if you look at the different parts of the world, you're talking about different from intellectual to spiritual. And you're seeing the extreme differences, and you can see it on the planet. Atlantis was the opposite, and with Lemurian. And we're just making sure that when we come back to evolution, because all we did was involution process. We're coming back. What does this mean? We come back, and it's about really making sure we understand the depths of what part we played, about what we've done, what, and I know that I've come around and I have to play a certain part again. My camera keeps moving, and there's not much I can do about that. So you can be very sensitive to people's emotions and people's things. Now, I'm going to explain something to you real quick. There's what's called, we're all connected. Okay, we started off, we have all of this energy that's one, and boom, like in the Big Bang, we were created, and we were created with souls, which are recorders, and to journey forth. Now, what still connects us to God? An entanglement cord. What connects us to all of our family, friends, and all of this is entanglement cords. And the thing is that if you were completely identical, then it's like whatever happened to this person would happen simultaneously to this person. But because we have journeyed through the chakras, and that's level of consciousness, we have learned to do things in strings, dimensions, and time, space. That's all there is between spirit is this data, this information, time, and space. And when you go in meditation, you don't go, I'm in this space and running along this time. I'm in time running in this space. So you begin to understand that when you're thought, you are completely what you are as human. But your consciousness, and you're like, how can that be? When you're human, you create a lot of limitations to be in a certain place. Now, I can tell when I'm triggered, and I don't waste it. I can tell when I need to have my time. I need to put up boundaries, and it's not always easy to talk to people. And people will show up to you with all of their stuff that they need to heal. And then there's all the stuff that, and for me as a healer, I'm supposed to learn the ins and outs. Why do you come to me? Why do you want a reading? Because I can read your entanglement cord. I can feel it. I know it. I can tap into that frequency, and that's when you're healing. My body shifts the same time yours does. So as people grow, you're going to find different levels of learning how to relate to each other. You're going to find different levels of yourself. And as Patricia said, Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie. Yes, that's true. I love that book, The Shadow Work. I've studied a lot of information from so many great people that have been here before me. I am human, but I'm also a soul coach. I don't live in the same world to some degree as everyone else. And it's hard for when you begin to take this classes with me, and you begin to wake up to the different temperaments you are, to the different levels of your shadows, it's going to hurt. It's called a hot seat. And when I had my classes, I had a room, and there was different ways of doing it. After a while, because the group became such a close family, you didn't have to get up in the hot seat. But before then, it was for helping you to understand how we feel as an ego. And that is, come on up, get in the seat. And even though I told you things that were not as bad as you think everybody thinks, oh, those aren't bad. They relate. They're glad that they heard it. And if you have an enemy in the audience, of course, they're the only ones that's not going to be awake. And they're the ones that's only going to ask you for ill will. But you don't realize that the energy is needed for you to understand the relationship of yin and yang, understand the yin and the yang of, am I pushing, am I pulling, am I accepting, am I rejecting? And it's a language that we used to know, that we're remembering. So I've hurt someone's feelings because I had to put up a boundary, because I know that there's a part of me that has to work on whatever past life issue that I have. I will talk and I will test you. I don't test you in the way that some people do. I will come out and say what I have to say. And if you don't hear me, and if you don't understand it, and I tried to explain it, then there's no way. And if you still don't get it, I can't do anything about it. So then I switch gears and try to talk to you on the level that you're at. When you get angry, you can blame others. I want you to look at how angry you feel. So, and those are your barriers. Those are the limitations. Those are the what you decided you can't. I'm not going past this for whatever reason your soul did, your epigenetics, or what you did in this lifetime. So there was a show, it was a TV show for kids on Teen Channel or something, and I watched it one day. This girl goes, "Oh, I just wish I was psychic, and I wish I could just read your mind because I know I can." And well, she got that ability. And she went to school and she's hearing her best friend going, "Oh my God, why is she wearing that?" And here's the thing. Everybody is going to have an opinion. It could be an off day. It could be a bad mood. It could be, they're looking through their filters. But did they want her ill will? No, but we all do it. And the person that's listening and observing, they're going, "Oh my God, and I can't believe they're doing this." But they can't look at the mirror and realize they do it too. It is part of that two-faced part of you that you're waking up from. Because if you live in the external world and the ego does all these things to help you survive, one of the bad things that's going to occur is that when you go into flippant speaking and you think, "Oh God, she was a bitch today." Now, even though that is your opinion, it can warp you. And this is how relationships go bad, because you're going to run the track and run the track. What do I mean by run the track? You're going to constantly think about it, and you're going to make a track in your brain. What fires together, wires together. And if you're firing constantly, "Oh, look how they did, they hurt me. Look how they did this. Look how they did that. Look how they did this." Then you are going to have to trigger one of your meridians. Kidneys about fear. Lungs are about grief. And liver is about anger, but it's also about irrational thinking, helping you get out of that particular brainwave. Gallbladder's resentment. And what happens is that then these get tripped. These meridians start telling a story of that moment, building up a particular negative emotion towards the loved one that you used to love. Now you're excited to pick up their underwear and wash their dishes, and now you're like, "Oh, fucking do it yourself." Where did that come from? And sometimes it's not that they did anything wrong to you. It's because sometimes it's just your filter. But then there are other times you've picked up other people in your space. A lot of you go to work and come home and you don't realize you just brought the office home. Some of you even morph into one particular person. If I had you here, I'd muscle test you to say, "Who are you today?" And a lot of you would probably end up being the coworker that's a bitch, or your loved one or your family member, and you don't even know whatever issue they're going through. All of a sudden, your immune system's listening. It's got to act. It has to go into stress mode. It's got to act. But if the environment is always said that this space is supposed to be of peace, one would be at peace. But if you go into a space where it's one of always negative, anger, guess what? You're going to be picking up one or all of those, and your immune system will start to attack. But it also will actually affect the nerves. Like last night, I was trying to do a past life regression so I can really heal my issue. And for 3 days now, as I try to go into that past life, not just one, it's just getting there. It's that steps of getting there. All of a sudden, I'll start going into a choking attack. And it'll shock me. And so I have to grab my inhaler and I have to open it up again. And I'm like, okay, just let it go, breathe, do all my steps so I don't have to go into a panic attack and make it worse and exacerbate it. So I know that the exacerbation, making it worse, is one of the things that I have to heal, because that's part of a program. So I've been learning how to unwind that. You just can't go in and attack that. You have to kind of like feel it with a live experience. And so that you can learn to fire and wire new brain language so that you don't have to go there. When you fire and wire it, you're going to go there every time. A trigger. Oh, there's these underwear. All of a sudden, their gesture, they're like, and you're like, "Oh, I hate that." But what's happening is that these are triggers. You did not know how to resolve them when it happened. So therefore, it's going to build up over time. And then you can learn to fall out of love because you have programmed yourself and the environment. And we can even say on an ego level, they did it. They can have certain behaviors that you no longer are in the same vibrational link with. Is it their fault? Is it your fault? It's not about fault. It's about your growth. Some people will even sacrifice growing so they can stay with their mate. That's fine. That's a choice. But you can't turn around and blame the mate. You have to understand you made the choice. I have bumped into a lot of people that have made the choice that, oh, my mother was dying and, she needed help. And so now I've spent, she didn't die right away. So 4 years later, I'm still doing this, and then nobody's around. And then you build up all this resentment and all these emotions, all of these things, even though you started out with love. There's a part of you that it wears on you. It's like if I told you a joke and you laughed your ass off, even almost peed your pants and crying, and then I told you that joke again, and I told you that joke again, and I told you that joke again, time is going to make it sound like, oh, I don't know why you're still doing that. And you will build up a different way of feeling about that joke. And we do that with people. And it's just a normalcy of how we choose to be human. But there's more than this. You have a chance to not get caught up in your program. You have a chance of looking and saying, oh, why didn't they call me? Why didn't they do this? You had an expectation and you're hurt because they didn't. And you know what? Sometimes it's a blessing when they don't call, or it's a blessing when they're out of your life and you don't know it. I wanted to hang on to my ex forever. And I thought, I failed somewhere. Again, this is where you falter in your own thinking and your growth, but it is part of how you know when you're done with something. Other people's like, oh yeah, you were done a long time ago. So what do? In your mind, you don't realize you build up this whole filing system of against them. Look what they did. Look at how they behaved. And some of you don't know how to go from there to there. Look at their patterns. Get to know them. Understand everybody has a particular pattern. Now, I'm not saying, oh, look, you got a pattern and point it out. No, look at your own shit too. But when an incident happens, you don't waste it. Now, I've hurt somebody's feelings. I love them, but I also want them to learn me. I am not part of their ego world where it is I'm the same unit as the next person. I had to get this and teach this to my husband I'm married to now. And he sees it. Because you can't apply the same rules. You're going to wake up and you're not going to fit into that world out there. I have people that come to my office, feel so good, leave and go back in that matrix. But because they haven't completely woke up to that next level, then that matrix pulls them back in. Your codes light up. They're written that way. And I'm helping you to break those codes. I'm helping you to end that particular thing. So, I wasn't going to get on today because I was not feeling well. The heat gets to me. That's just something that my physical body, I've came in this world to work on my spiritual issues and my physical, spiritual and physical. If you have physical issues, because you have the spiritual issues, and it has formed in the physical. I've excelled on working on the mental and the emotional bodies. I've raised my emotional quotient, so I have a good EQ. My IQ, that was raised just because I was studying about my EQ. But you got to understand, you are working on the 4 quadrants of who you are. And you only need to compare yourself to yourself. Now, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But I don't know how else to point it out. That I need my space. I'm an introvert, and I'm still trying to heal my shit. Now, I can feel all of these energies that are happening. And this is so important that you begin to know who you are, where you end and they begin, and when you want something and you can't let it go. If you're sitting there desiring and wanting something so bad, and you're reaching out, and you got to learn what yearning is. You got to learn what a desire is. A desire is an okay thing because this is what motivates your soul. Yeah, Spirit just gave me some insight. Yeah, do you remember we talked? Okay, I'm doing the show. You asked me to do this. So what's important is also there's growth patterns. A lot of you will say, oh my God, I know I just bumped into so-and-so, a family member, and they're acting like a 2-year-old, so they're throwing a tantrum. They haven't learned how to get beyond that arrested development. But I also know that there are people that haven't learned how to do self-discipline. It's not about discipline. Now, I know that if I have a program inside of me, which I'm healing, that if your energy is coming at me, that's going to feel more aggression. And if I fail to deliver what you want, then I'm hurting you and you can get angry and I can feel that. And it's not just feeling that on an emotional level. I'm feeling it on the entanglement cord level. A little different. But I also have a program that I can't seem to unswitch that is I'm supposed to punish myself. I mean, I won't be doing it in my head, but I will drop things on myself. Yesterday, I almost stabbed myself with a knife. I'm like, really? I smacked the head and so I know I hurt somebody, and I've been doing nothing but punishing myself. And at first I thought it was just punishing because that's part of arrested development. But I also know that it is, if I see, this is where it's like a catch-22, because there's all of these different things that go in it. I know I said I do not want to be that. And so the energy I put into that knot, and every time I try not to be that, and so I actually become that, my body then stops myself. So it's not just about a punishment, it's about this self-regulation. And so I have all these things sometimes that are, it's a healthy boundary, or it is a limited decision, a limited, and what happens is that there's a big difference between those two. So you're learning to grow. Why is it so deep? Because you're coming into 2020. 2020, the energies are going to be so much stronger. I have had people come out of the woodwork this morning and just say, oh my God, what's wrong? Why all of a sudden am I feeling this way? I was feeling happy. I feel like I'm crooked as hell. And it must be my spine, because I know that's been acting up. But I also move my room around. I have it more in the corner because I needed to expand. And so I kept saying to my spirit, okay, we need to expand this space. I need to expand this space. How do I do in such a tiny space? And then all of a sudden Spirit said, well, how about if we rearrange it this way? And now something that I tried to do when I first got here 4 or 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, was put a massage table here so that I can work on people. And lo and behold, now it fits with shelves and this over here, which didn't fit so many years ago. But the angle of where the camera is at, I still haven't been able to appropriately put them in the right place. So we're going to do things differently today. I don't know what that even means, because I'm in the middle of a reset. A reset is, I think if I told you in the last show, a reset is that a place where you can't do things the old way. And Spirit just telling you that you have to reset it, like finding the different times to do the show, or there's just resets of things in your business, things in your life, things in your relationships. It's a reset, and I'm in the middle of one. So it hasn't quite come out. Just know that things have changed. I'm looking at everybody that's here. That's good. Now, understand, those that you remain are the ones that really want to grow. So that's what the classes are going to be. But you're going to, I'm trying to find the right times so that I can, if I have to do several groups, I'll do several groups. And they may go for longer than 40 minutes. I would just have to shut down and restart, and you all have to sign back in. I don't know how that process even works. I was thinking about doing a test run. I don't know when I'll do a test run, but I will be doing one. And understand that the first class is just $22. We're not going to really do a lot of introducing because we don't want to waste that 40 minutes. I'm going to be on Zoom. I couldn't find any other program that I could do for free. So we're going to have you come in and we're going to start. And you're going to do certain steps about the self-discovery, about growing, and tools. Do I know really more about it? No, you're just going to wake up. You're going to be able to be in that spiritual space where I'm at, where you can be, where you can not have to be the program 24/7. Some of you it may take longer. Some of you will be really quick, but don't judge yourself with your neighbor. Looking at the time. Okay, we're good. Now, anybody out there that wants to chat, what's going on, anything. Oh my goodness, Betty, you look so gorgeous in that picture. Oh my goodness. I've seen Betty, her picture, pretty, and all of a sudden she just had this look, this energy glowing off of her, the way her clothes were rearranged, and I was just like, wait, whoa, that knocked my socks off. That was so cool because her energy was like, hello. And it's like, this is me. And it's like, there was this glow that said, this isn't just the physical form. There's a spirit shining in there. And it was like, brilliant. She says, I feel like I'm 39. It was my best age. Woohoo. Good. And then you can begin to shine. Now, Betty has not really worked with me one-on-one, but whatever she's doing, it's working for her. And I'm so proud of that. That's what I want all of you to do. You're going to have setbacks. I get them. But I'm going to teach you how to use that setback properly as you're on the spiritual trail. Some of the things I'm going to teach you has nothing to do with what's on the internet. So, talk to me. Betty said that she has done a lot of self-discovery and growth. That's excellent. Excellent. And if you can learn not to go into your shell, or if you begin to feel pain and you begin to go in your shell, understand that it's okay. Don't waste anything. You can't run the same tracks you did before because you're going to start looking through a spiritual aspect of going, oh! And I think Betty has had a lot of epiphanies. A lot of epiphanies. Now, I'm not sure if Amy wants to be a part of today's show. If she does, I've been waiting. I can't seem to figure out to get her on. So that's her call, whatever she chooses to do. Because I don't know what computer's working, if her phone's working. Other than that, that's where we're at. So we're just going to jump out and come into 2020. And one of the things about 2020 is that you need to, I would suggest getting up every morning before you get out of bed and just say thank you for the download. Before you go to bed at night, thank you for the download. You have to be okay with the download because a lot of people are so afraid that it's going to be Oh, I'm going to download negativity. I'm going to download an evil virus, or I'm going to download something that's going to be attacked. So part of what you need to do is you need to protect yourself. Energetically, one of the main things you can do is learning how to turn on the pillar of white light around your chakra tube, in and around your chakra tube. And understand that your chakras don't just stop at 7, it goes higher. And then there's different levels of your chakras and connect to Mother Earth. And you just literally just begin to connect into that space that's already there, that ego has told you is not there. So there's a part of you that, learn to bless, learn to find out who you are. And so the card for the beginning of the new year is a blessing to shield and safeguard you. That's kind of funny. See it pop beyond the light there. A blessing to shield and safeguard you. So I'm just going to spend a couple seconds to call in the spirit of your higher self, your guards, your gates, all those that are already in there. And we're going to ask them to connect in and vibe up, get that frequency going, so that you can connect to that white light, which is very healthy and strong. And just imagine that it's cleaning. That it's like when you go into a room and it's dark and you flick on the light switch, what happens to the dark? It's not evil. It's just that it has to learn to integrate. So you're trading in marriage, cleaning, and the white light is very cleansing, and you're going to imagine it. So when you begin to grow, thank you, Catherine. You learn so much from you talking. Yes, that's what I want people to do. I want them to understand they do not have to be a prisoner of the world. They don't need to be a prisoner of their own limited decisions and beliefs. Half of you don't even know where you got them, and you don't know exactly what questions to ask. And we're going to get you there. But then that's just on a spiritual level. Once you get to the physical and mental and the emotional level. I had a bad experience. I remember... and I've been pretty much ungrounded all my life, and people, healers, well, you need to be grounded. Wow. And it's like all of these little things that occur, and it's like, what do I do? And I said, okay, Spirit, what's happening? Why is it that I'm having problems connecting and staying connected with Mother Earth? And all of a sudden I had a flash of when I was 4. Now, we lived in a trailer and it was muddy and we were trying to build a house. So you got all of this, in between the trailer and the neighbors next door. My sister left me out and it was pitch dark, and my boots got stuck in the mud, and my sister couldn't get me out, so she left. I can't tell you how long I was there because I was just a kid. And I remember screaming because I couldn't move. It's like Mother Earth was sucking me up. Lost a good pair of boots that day. Don't have a clue. Couldn't get them out of the mud, but they pulled me out of the boots. But there was a part of me as a child with that irrational thinking that was freaking out. So, I had to heal this, and it was the very simple of the screaming. And I always had feeling throughout my life that, I'm going to get trapped under a building. So 9/11 is very hard for me because the entanglement cord there was, I could feel people trapped under the building, and it didn't help that I exacerbated my thinking because I was an emotional empath before I realized how to really get that under control. So my mind would go there. My emotions would go there on top of what I was already picking up. And I kept feeling that I was trapped. Is that true, Catherine? She says, I've changed as a person from knowing you. How many sessions we've had? We've only had a couple. And then we've talked a few times. And she's waking up, and it's beautiful when a person gets it, because when you enter into space, and I remember her looking at me and she's like, huh. And all of a sudden, bing, there was like that light switch, that epiphany light switch. And it was very unique because you could see her downloading and getting it. And it was like, she got it. And to understand that when we're in that space together, we're raising the frequency, not just the vibration, raising the frequency. And by raising that frequency, you jump on board to learn things on such a deep level. Tricia says, I have been doing pretty well and not getting caught up in my programs lately, but my husband set it back. Oops, my screen changed a little last night. Aw. That's hard when it comes to another human being in your space. Yeah, but and it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You are human. Just don't waste it, and just start recognizing when it all happens. Tammy says, this is my question: how to clear our channel and integrate all of this quickly, moving energy and information. Asking spirit and guides is very helpful. What more can we practice to clear the conduit? No, there's lots to do. For one, education is going to be your best friend. But you got to be careful who you're getting your education from. I mean, you can take bits and pieces. Don't put people on pedestals and then you learn that and then you're like, oh, I've already learned that. And so you're like, I'm not going to study that. But you take that information and you share it with spirit. You and spirit take this information and then you guide it like synchronicity to the next thing. You're like, oh, I just read that. No, don't go there. Oh, wonder what this has to teach me today. And all of a sudden you'll find maybe one or two words that will strike how you learned the first one, but it'll set it in deeper because you understand it so much more just because of the wording changed. And so you'll eventually begin to understand why synchronicity with spirit, why you study with spirit, why you learn with spirit, because spirit will show you what books to get, where to look. When you're watching a commercial, a stupid commercial, but yet their spirit speaking through it, and you're like, what? Our brain likes to reject things constantly. It likes to put them in compartments and delete, distort, and generalize because that's what it does. Out of the 4 billion bits of information, we only take in 2,000 bits, but it goes further. And when you get upset, you delete, distort, and generalize. You delete, it takes everything down to, that's how it copes. It's very unhealthy of how it copes. And when it, now see, I don't understand. Amy doesn't look like she's even checked my, Aim, I think I figured it out. Why did it do that? Okay, so like I said, I picked up jinxed energy this morning, and so it made things not work. This is why it took me forever to get on. Now, Amy, it should work. Why? Yes, I said yes. So it's these connections, a phone. Don't take things, I'm connected here, but this morning, the camera wouldn't stay. So I thought, what am I doing wrong? Spirit says, you're asking the wrong question. What are you taking in? Oh, what am I taking in? So I had to do the Celtic Weave. First I had to do Wayne Cook, balance my brain. I had to do the Celtic Weave to kick all the energies out, connecting heaven and earth so that the speaking of the energy of as above, so below, as well as cleaning everybody out. And then I had to do the hookup so that I wasn't gut open like a pig to take in everything. Now it should work. So, no. Okay. Hang on, Aim. I should be getting there now. It's just, and again, so this third one, even though I had it set in, video premiere. What? Oh, that's new. New things. Ton of new things. There. You got it? Oh, Jesus. You can't hear me. Okay. So now, well, at least we have a link. Sorry, Aim. But no sound. Call in. Okay, who? Here. Now? Yep. Okay, so it's all about connections. It's all about I was connected, not connected. Doesn't mean that I'm disconnected. Well, it depends on if there's interference, if there's a whole lot of things they said I've already repeated. But just so you understand, you don't have to be the victim of your circumstances. I could have, with ego, just said, oh, hell with it. I could have went into my physical body and go, oh, God, I can't do a show today. I've only got like 4 hours of sleep because my body wouldn't let me rest. Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. But I just lay there and I go, okay, Spirit, if I'm supposed to do this, then you give me the strength. You know, and I'm sweating like bullets. I was going to swear. But Spirit says, no, just get up. Everything will work. And then you'll see what you're supposed to teach. And it's like, really? And Spirit says, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm complaining. Yep, pull that out, let it go, because I can feel it is inside. You know, we get addicted to those emotions. And that's where we get the flippant talking. It just becomes, you know, natural. Yeah. It's just like you don't know you're even doing it. That's why I want you to start to catch yourself when you realize, oh, shit. So what they say, call it cognitive behavior. Anyways, I'm sweating and I'm very, very hot. Okay, now my body's like going, yes, I'm having a hot flash on top of being hot. That's not cool. So bear with me just for a moment. My head is just like, but anyways, what I was getting at is that you can slowly ask Spirit to balance your chakras and to balance your stress. You have 3 particular parts on your head that have to do with stress. And if those 3 are off, you will then completely feel emotional or hormonal or any of that stuff. It's so I will tell you that the important part is that if you are of age of a menopause, you will want to hold these points individually or all together. Because I'm not doing the show, I'm going to try to do them all together so I look kind of funny. But a purpose is that you have to find what you value. What do you value? What do you love? You have to first define, what do you love? Not what you don't love, but what do you love? What's important? That's your key word. What's important to you? It's important that I connect with Amy. It's important that I do the show. It's important I connect to Spirit. It's important. It's important. And when you start, oh, there we go. And when you start to find what's important to you, Spirit is going to say, oh, you want that? I'll give you more. And then you'll start to, it's like when you're trying to write a paper, if you remember that in high school or college, you're like, oh my God, this is the topic they gave me? Now, if you didn't engage and you didn't like and you didn't find the importance of this, then you would just go to the finding the encyclopedia. Well, there, I'm done. But if it was something that engaged you and you found it important because there was a piece of information, you're like, ooh, curiosity. Then there's a motivation and then the urge. And then you start doing this pattern with your heart and your mind, which is all about coherence. And all of a sudden Spirit says, ooh, here, get this book. Oh, did you hear what that person said? Oh, let's go do that. And all of a sudden you have all this material and your paper's written brilliantly. Now that's life. So what's important to you? So Betty says, yes, that was part of how I was drawn to you. You said certain words. That felt right. Yes, very good. Like Mrs. Pieces I needed. Explanations from you matched with things I have heard or read from years ago. Excellent. See, that's her growth process. And Spirit said, let's do it this way. And she was ready. You know, some of you will feel ready. But if you don't know the difference between a spiritual mindset and an ego mindset, you're going to have a lot of setbacks. And that's okay. It's okay. If you're waking up and all of a sudden you don't know you're an ego mindset, that's okay. It really is. So I had 44, 11, and 11. That's funny. What's the 411? What's the information? Really? So is today somebody's birthday or is that, no, I'm a day ahead, right? I can't hear you.
It's a day ahead, but that's all right.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I won't think I'll be on tomorrow. Amy's birthday. And so we're going to say happy birthday. So
Thank you.
So, you know, You were one of those Christmas baby, New Year's baby, and it gets a little hard. And you had told me, like, my sister was born the 22nd of December, and she's like, I always get cheated. You says, oh, I was never cheated. I was spoiled. Was that? She's smiling.
I was spoiled rotten.
So that's good. I'm so glad you never had to feel that. Ah, see, here comes the happy birthdays. That's awesome.
But, you know, nothing huge.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Like I said, my computer decided it did not want to work this morning because it wanted to obey everybody else's rules. So somebody asked me if I was doing readings for $9 for 6 minutes. Yes, I am. I just got caught up in stuff. So yes, if you want a reading for 6 minutes for $9, you're more than welcome to. And wow, all of a sudden I'm just like sweating bullets again. And that was an interesting. The wind is blowing really hard. It's getting my attention. It's making that whistling sound. I don't know if you guys can hear it. What is the weather? Somebody asked me, so why is Australia burning? We're moving into this 2020, but we're moving into 5D. There's a lot of things that have to change. Now the weather patterns are going to change. You're going to see that all over the world. You can hear it. Oh gosh. Everything's that I want you to pay attention and say thank you, Spirit. Animals that were supposedly extinct are probably going to come out of the woodwork. Things that you never knew didn't exist, all of a sudden they just found it. If you look at old charts, you can see where old rivers used to be. They're starting to come back. We are taught to look at is fearful, impending doom. Is it? We know how to adapt. It's not the weakest or the strongest that survive. It's the ones that adapt. It's the ones that resolve. It's the ones that are called MacGyvers. It's the ones that look over and go, oh, if I put this piece and this piece together, look what I get. And so you're never without. You're learning to live with spirit in the external world. You're learning to use your intuition with the external world. So you're learning to marry yin and yang, okay? That is very, very, very important. Catherine always says, I want you as my neighbor. Hey, Catherine, I want to tell you, your name is not Karen anymore. So you must have gotten rid of a big chunk of energy because every time, I know your name's Catherine, but every time, even when I read you, oh, look, it's Karen. And I catch myself, what the? Well, now you must have shifted because I have not thought of that in a while. Okay? I have not thought of that for a while. Now, the importance of understanding why, where you live, and I need the time zones. And then, like, if 10 o'clock is a good time for you, my time is 10 a.m., so it's been 48 minutes now, and it's good for you, then that could be a great time to have a class for all those that want it. And if I have to do another show later, and hopefully not too late in the evening, then I need to know what times I need to do them at, and then we're going to try to keep them set as that. Yeah, okay, yeah, something's not working. See, I'm still picking that energy up. It's not affecting me physically, but it's affecting my external world, which doesn't surprise me. It doesn't.
Thank you.
I don't even have the pinned comment. Oh, there we go. All right, well, I did put the link up. There you go. Yes, Tammy said, so is the body heat and the wind possibly a spirit trying to get your attention? Let me look, my dear love. Let me look. Yes, Tammy, yes. Is it for somebody in the audience? Yes, yes. That's probably why somebody says, hey, you're going to pay, are we going to do those? Yes. So let me look. This is funny. Okay, so they are trying to. Oh, my whole family's here. I think that, Betty, you're meant to know that your family is with you too then, because we're related. because he doesn't always come first. It's usually my mother or my sister, but my Uncle Don just popped in. And he said, Delilah. So he's singing that song. Anyway. Okay, yeah, all I can now hear is my uncle singing Delilah. Okay. He had a great voice. Now, as we're waiting, and sometimes this don't even work, I've learned that, so I'll just go to PayPal. But anyways, we're changing, and so, you know, Australia happens to be burning. One of the things that you can learn from this is very much the seeds around here can't open up, develop, and grow unless they're put on a lot of fire. And so then they crack open. And so we're learning how to adapt and live with and have to be okay with things that are changing out. And a fire is a cleanse. A fire brings in the new. Now, I'm so thankful my husband chose to live, or we've chosen to live, because it is actually quite safe to be here. Notice the new logo. It says Medicine Woman Solution. So it goes Medicine Woman Solution. So it's the MWS, and it's the crown. And that had to do with Catherine. Catherine sent me this amazing meme that what we're going to do is we're going to give you information and tools to help you fix your crown so that nobody needs to know it was crooked in the first place. And that's the best part. Oh, it started. I was trying to figure out. There we go. Now, if you have a 1 minute read that you want, you just go ahead and send it to Amy, or send it to Amy. Send it to MWS, Medicine Woman Solution. So it's MWS4 and the letter U at dr.com. Amy, did I get that right?
Yes, ma'am. I pinned it at the bottom too.
Oh, good. But anyway, so Cindy, you're up. Wow, that is one strong wind. Wind. So the element of change. What are you not doing? So thought, wind, thought. Clarity. What is it you wanted, Cindy, to talk about? You can call if you want. Good Lord. Sometimes when you get information, it can sound like it's so threatening. I had a psychic person say I have black pockets and lungs and other issues, mold related and acid. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I hope to God you consider the source when you get it from certain people. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, there are people that do not connect all the way up into the energy field or into the entanglement cords or up into the broadband. Wait, wrong one, is it? What do I say? It's not broadband. It's the bandwidth. That's it.
Bandwidth, yes.
So you can pick up information on the astral realm, which is looking at filters of variable choices, and then those meaning that you have all these choices above your head. They're variables. These are things that you may have chosen, things that you might have chosen, things that you can swap out. It's the crossroad of yes, no. Which way should I go? Old patterns or new one? It is where that meeting point is, where you can go into the quantum field of potential, where all things are potential, which means you don't always have to reach in and grab that you have something bad. Now I'm going to tap into. First thing they ask, are you showing any signs of lung issues? Now, as I'm looking at your lungs, I'm asking. I'm getting no. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the bigger books. Watch out for the power of persuasion, power of suggestion. Because some people just want to be right, and it's not about you. Okay, so you're letting more light in, which when you let more light in, you understand your cells are made of light. And the more light you let in, the more you're connecting your spirit speaking through, and the less you would have of diseases. Now, Cindy, have you had any medicinal drugs? Medicinal? Not recreational drugs and not prescription drugs, but medicinal drugs.
Like vitamins and that type of thing.
Yeah, like that type of thing. I hope you heard her. Shoot, do I have it up? Yeah. Because the energy in that space is that your body, okay, now this is where people are going to get confused, but I'm going to try to explain it because this is where source point healing is. Okay. Something you have taken in the past, something around 11 years old, and your body wasn't for sure whether it liked it or not. Okay, so this doesn't even have to be now. They're saying that you had a lot of grievance at the time around 11 with an experience taking healthy stuff. There can be trained to not like it, is what I'm hearing. Okay. All right. So all these ads just started to pop up, which is a sign. And it's unwanted information, unwanted data. So when you are having something, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. The point is that the experience of whatever happened at 11 with the medicinal medicine or medicinal stuff became what's called like enemies to some degree. And if I ask, so when you have a certain vitamin, mineral, which one is it that her body, so it's a combination of all of that natural stuff in your body is not able to absorb where it needs to, therefore throw things off. Now I'm getting there to your answer. You just wait. Your meridians, I'll have lung issues, but my lungs are clean. My lungs are healthy. But what throws it off? My gallbladder meridian does not work properly. I even lost my gallbladder. But with the energies running through, it creates an energy block in my throat, in my spine. My liver, and I can tell when my liver, and you can see that I got extra weight on me. My liver is not functioning like it should. So when it has to keep recycling that old shit and the old blood stuff and old information is what they're saying that this is, this old information comes through. Get to that in a second. And so because this information keeps coming through, then your body then feels like it's got to be sick. So with my having an emotional thing, so if somebody's angry at me or whatever, my liver will kick in, my liver meridian will kick in, and I will start producing certain, what do you want to call it? Energies that are out of balance, and the liver meridian will then start tripping my lung, and I will wheeze. And I will start to get coughing and sick. I know that source point healing, I can go into the liver meridian, work on that, get the liver to be happy again, which sends energy to all of my meridians, and my lungs correct themselves. I believe you had a particular issue at 11 that seems to be really affecting this moment. I see nothing in the lungs except for the meridians that are messing with the lungs. When I see dark spots, there's a difference between a memory. And I'm checking, do you have any goobers there? No, goobers are not snot, but they are dark lower energies. I'm not seeing that either. I'm seeing a memory. And memories can be considered black pockets in my book, but that doesn't mean black pockets as in a disease, as you would see from what a medical doctor would say. So if they are not really a medical doctor, you have to remember, you got to be careful that I'm just going to go a few minutes more here. Don't fall for, consider the source. If they're not a doctor and you had not full x-rays, or you haven't had confirmation, okay, consider the source. So their spirit is saying, number one, you have to consider the source. They said when you were 11, you didn't consider the source, and somebody delivered some information that actually caused you to not feel good. Cindy says, I have had bad dizziness and anxiety, bad woman issues. Was this before you had the reading? That's very important, because if you there was a traumatic time when I was 11. Okay, that is interfering with your stress hormones. Remember, if you were watching, I told you that this axle, if it's off and your body keeps tripping the same story, it's going to affect the female parts. Okay, and there is a very specific story, which I haven't gotten to yet, because I just wanted you to understand that I don't see what they claim they saw. I see it and translate it as it is a interference with a trauma. And those energies are doing yin yang, a push and a pull, they're creating a moment. But I don't see any microbes, any disease in that nature. I see your DNA looks like it's changing, but it doesn't mean that it has to be permanent change. You can reverse these things. Okay, now I'm just going to go real quick. And if I said, what is it that happened at 11 that's affecting the lungs to get that kind of result? And they said it had to do with the compulsion to stay indecisive and looking for praise, and addicted to that particular pattern. People, listen up. You need to understand this. You can become addicted to emotions. And you're like, what? The chemical peptides that create that emotion to vibrate, your body says, we need that vibration. And it doesn't matter what it is. Now Cindy said, had vertigo, anxiety for 18 years. That's a hell of a long time. So it sounds like the inner ear issue as well. Have you tried, I can't remember the name of it. It's where you lay down. Okay, Amy, if you could take a note, it is putting the ball back into the ear, which is to stop the vertigo. You're going to have to tell me in that way. But there is a process of turning your head just right, letting the ball fall. And I can't remember what the next step is. And then you turn it again, you let it fall. It'll eventually fall back into the proper alignment as far as that. When it comes to the anxiety.
I found it on YouTube.
What's that?
I found it on YouTube when I was so busy one day.
Yeah, I sent you that information before too. But did it work?
Yeah.
Okay, it will work.
Until I could get to physio or to have them actually because you have to keep your head.
That's it. Yeah, an Epley maneuver.
Yeah.
Yes. Tammy, it's okay. She spelled it. I think that's right. EPLEY, Epley maneuver. Okay, first of all, we got to get that now. Why did that go out of place? They're going right back to lung, and it's about the compulsion. You heard something so traumatic. You heard something. Now, it stunned the ear because all of a sudden my body just went stunned, but I heard it first. And it's like, I reject this out of my reality, whatever it was at 11. I didn't even want to look up because I know if I look up, it's there and it's not going away. I feel like I'm in the middle or the beginning of this trauma. And, oh God, it's just, okay. So anyways, well, I can see why it would throw you off. And so now you have to have the compulsion. Is it a compulsion to not look up? What do you want? The compulsion about correcting? to do what they tell you to do. So you get something that gets love taken away, attention gets taken away, because you made a decision and they told you in some way it was a wrong decision. It's like you have to have it their decision. Ooh, hold on, I'm getting dizzy. I know you just wrote something, but I have to wait. So I would definitely say you need to go into, that's why the wind's blowing really hard right now. You need to get into how everything is communicating properly and not being thrown off when things that you hear, because with the way the wind blows just right, it can freak you out. It takes me back to, it used to be stronger, but I've healed a lot, to tornado time, duck and cover. They say Meniere's disease, inner ear disease, but they're guessing. Okay, a lot of times your doctor's not going to find anything. If it's just energy, because that's all you are is energy. The doctor's not going to find anything until you have a permanent change within the DNA cell that you feel that you can't get over. But you feel you still can get over. You feel that you don't have to have this. You feel, okay. So your DNA your DNA changes with the expressions of emotions. It doesn't change any other way. And some parts of your DNA is saying that it has to go into this behavior. And you can actually begin to literally heal this backwards. Meaning where you are now, you do the surface layer, do the next layer, start pulling them out by the roots, but eventually you're going to get all of it. So in their diagnosis, now I'm assuming this is a doctor, they are doing their best guess because all the energy points to that. See, this is why when people come to me and you want a certain physical thing addressed, I'll say, what did your medical doctor say? Because then I can find more of what it is that into the alignment of the issue, if that makes any sense. And then we can go in and find it deeper. Like, for instance, I know I'm spending a little bit time on this, but I need you guys to get this. It's not just about her. It's about all of you and not understanding, what's really going on in your world. We all can benefit from this. Now, if I go into messages from the body and I say, we're going to look under, let's see, hopefully I can find it. We want to look at Meniere's and affecting the organs of balance, leading to violent dizziness, severe nausea, and intense vomiting. It's called Confusion City. They are suffering from severe disorientation and feeling of being thrown off base. That's exactly what I felt when I entered in that entanglement cord. I felt like you were thrown off base and you've never recovered. So you're addicted to knowing, that moment of how you were thrown off base. They have a very strong sense of being at risk in a confusion and potentially dangerous world. That moment at 11, that is what she believed. And you have a compulsion to try to correct that, but it goes back there. They don't have a clear sense of direction or the nature of what is happening around them. Because I feel, again, when somebody was telling you that you have to do that decision their way, they are sick and tired of all this, and they aren't willing to put up with the demands for more responsibility and accountability. Now, if they're the product of a magic misery tour, chaotic energies, and they says they are expected to be the same one where sanity was not attainable. So you're like inside this trauma. Now, any of what I said ring true? Yes, so true. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. She says she appreciates it. So understand, if anything I said, one, none, or all apply, you can heal out those beliefs, those emotions, those patterns. Now, some are quick, some will take longer. I mean, Amy can tell you that. Sometimes it just, you can take, and it'll be like, oh my God, this seems like it's the worst thing in the world. And she takes a few minutes and all of a sudden it clears up. And then there are some that are like, Jesus, it's lasting for days. But you're getting it because it's coming from different roots. Isn't that right, Aim?
That's right.
Oh, she says, my mother was nuts in the most... Okay, understand. That affects why you do these things. You can unhook that because your child, it keeps going back to that moment. I mean, literally, I'm going back to that moment. I can't even lift my head because if I lift my head, then I'm going to have this freight train, which is where the anxiety comes from this person directly at me. And so I have to put my head down because I have to show honor. I have to show that I got it. Because if not, this freight train is going to be louder and it could actually hit because you don't know. So I would definitely say, make an appointment with me. Otherwise, you are more than welcome to do your best to heal yourself. More power to you. Go use EFT, emotional freedom technique. There's tons of other ones to do. I just can't think of it. They're saying move on. Sorry. Next one is Angela Allen. Okay, so Angela Allen. What is it? And after Angela Allen is Lillian. After Lillian is Nicole Marie. So remember so Nicole sent me what she wanted to talk about. Okay. Angela Allen. So again, Cindy, don't believe the hype of that shit in your lungs. Post-hypnotic suggestion, people, will cause you to go crazy. My husband told me the story one time. He, because he works in a very high security place, they got cameras everywhere. The boss will come around and he'll threaten you if you know, just to get production up. And it's like, oh, I'm going to review all these things and I'm going to catch the criminal. And even though there's not a criminal, so everybody will go home and be worried that what if they fucked up and they didn't know it? And so then stress will come about. Some people get altered. Some people will start having issues mentally, emotionally, physically. Their whole body goes nuts. And then you go into the situation where it controls you. Amy, did you get an email from Lillian? Or it should be either Lillian or it may show up as Cecilia. Or I mean, not Ann. Oh, no. Yeah, just be aware of that one's coming up. And Angela Allen, I did not see. Angela Allen, I do not see. Well, I do not see her yet. So if anybody, am I looking at the wrong one? No.
I only have one.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so I don't know where Angela Allen is. I don't really want to do the read. I'll without you. I can always come back to Angela Allen if necessary, because sometimes people get called away. All I see is Angela Allen. Okay. What did you see, Lillian's? Oh, there's Angela Allen. Okay, what did you want me to talk about, honey? That's important. And then talk about Lillian. Okay. Because she said that she emailed. And she's the one that paid, so I don't know how it's going to show up because I don't see it on mine. So Angela, I'm going to just start, and then you can jump in if you want something very specific. The beginning of this new year, you have. They say that both self-conscious, let your conscious be your guide, and an awkwardness. It's like you don't know where to begin. So there's a state of confusion of not knowing what is right and wrong in certain worlds. And so let me explain something here. Right and wrong does not exist. Right and wrong is based on who you're with, where you're with, and who's changed the rules. For you have your givens. You shouldn't kill anybody. That's a given. Okay. But you are learning the ropes of how to communicate with people, how to do what you need to do. but you are awkward because you're starting to move in the direction of who you are, but yet you still have people telling you what's the right way and wrong way. Does this make any sense? Because they're saying, okay, so the person that just stepped forward reminds me of a younger child. Oh, how old are you? Approximately about 12 years old. Their energy was fun and loving. I feel like it's a female. And this person, do you have a name? Yes, but I can't hear it. Okay, that's fine. They're saying it is how you've always talked to yourself, towards yourself. So it's about self-discipline. When you used your what's the right thing to do, you didn't do it towards, you did it towards yourself as far as I better do the right thing or else. Because of this, whoever it is that you're looking at, you will then do the right thing that is according to them. And it got very confusing when you were little because it said they would change the rules on you. And it got very hard to understand how to do things. Did you, Dogman? No. The energy of what? The frequency inside changed. What went down? So the healthy energy inside your body went down. So instead of having confidence and self-esteem and love and all this, it literally began to bring you down into a very negative energy that you have to make yourself feel like shit when you looked at them to find out whether you did right or wrong. What? Then you born a strategy out of it. So if she wants something, she has to go through a bunch of hoops. She says there's like 4 particular hoops that you go through before you can get what you want. First, you have to become worried. And then you have to go into insanity, really, petrified, and self-justification. So you have to diminish your moral character of yourself so whoever it is that you had in your space, you would look towards to find out whether you did it right. Wait, yes, I was visiting a family and a 12-year-old tried to kill themselves. It's still with me emotionally. Holy shit. That was good. I mean, I heard that. Sorry, Brenda came through just for a second. Stuff her back in. But, oh, wow. Okay. That experience knocked you down. And so there are all these different levels that you have to do. And I'm going to tell you, you need to disrupt it. Which one would you disrupt first? Okay. Then tell me so the habit, you have to begin to understand your habits, because if you do, then you can say, oh, this is what I do. And then you can decide how you are addicted to the emotions that keep the habit. Because according to this person, you go into it form. It's easier if you're not an I, which means you're not important. You become an it. The I-it relationship in the situation is it because of their drama? No, because they're in charge. Okay, so in your it situation is that the I person is I'm in charge. And so there's an overbearing, lofty energy that kind of sets off the strategy pattern that if you want to be happy, you have to jump through all of these freaking hoops, if that makes any sense. And then you diminish your character, you don't even know it, but you tell yourself excuses and reasonings why you have to keep doing it. And so it's a false self-justification. You're trying to keep the peace. And you're in a discovery of this year that who am I really without that? who am I without that? And you can do this. You can find out who you are without that. Now, the healing the 12-year-old or healing that issue, it affected you big time because you felt the hopelessness of this child and you related to it in such a way that you contracted your energy and you haven't recovered. You have to heal hopelessness out. You either make an appointment or you use a healing tool, but you need to heal out. Yeah, I get it. The grief that comes to you when you feel hopeless, you don't even realize that that's part of see, now Angela says it was my father. He was a bully man. Yeah. And we have to heal this out because your body is like, so the stage of her, that trauma, and then you go back further. But you have to notice what hopelessness does to you and what habits it creates. All right, the next person is Lillian. Where was her?
Okay, I've got it. It says, hi, Brenda. Hope you are doing well. I would love a reading on me and my husband. We both got sick with a cold after hanging out with the mother-in-law. Mother-in-law had to go to the hospital because she was having a heart attack.
Oh, geez.
She has many issues with her family, but about inheritance. Please let us please let us in on what's really going on.
Okay.
We decided to stay away from all the drama.
Good. Okay. Well, for you, this new coming of the new year, these energies are very strong, and you have become this beautiful force of light. You have to be okay with people that cannot. It's my problem with my phone name. I don't think you're going to be able to fix it.
Now you're not quite right.
Okay. So the thing is that you're not meant to be in a line with this woman anymore. Okay. People are going to be leaving the planet. And this is the hardest part for people not to understand, is that they didn't sign up for this frequency. They don't want this frequency. Their soul has not learned what it's needed to learn to comprehend that frequency. There's different stages that the levels of first, second, and third chakra about survival and the growth. And this is why I always tell you that when people come to me, they heal their shit because a lot of times they don't want to recycle back through and reincarnate and have to go through it again. Even if you don't clear up the issues here, you are clearing up a lot of soul issues. So when you recycle again, you have to be okay with a particular part of this drama. You didn't cause this. You're growing. You are now in a different vibrational alignment because your ability to become more than who you are, your purpose is starting to come in very strong. It's hard to do when your external world is focused on all of this. Okay. They're saying that you are being greeted with alarm bells because your ego says, I have to stay in this alarm and helpless state. That's where I'm at. But it's not true. It simply is not true. Okay. But your body doesn't know it. It just knows the old pattern. And so it goes into panic. Now they're saying that you're picking up a great amount of energy from people, which helps keep this in play. So you're going to have to make sure that you always do the Celtic Weave, the connecting heaven and earth. You're going to have to do your hookup or zip up. You're going to have to make this not just a daily routine, but every time that you're around people, you're going to practice this in your head. You're going to see yourself do it so well that your body does it fluidity and all of your energies align. They know how to touch your pride and they know how to wound it. And that's just something that's from the old you. But you shrink your energy. Now, I can't tell you enough, people. You don't want to shrink your energy. You don't want to suck in your aura. Your aura breathes. But if you're holding your breath and you need air, what's going to happen? You eventually pass out, something bad will happen. Well, your energy, when it gets stuck, it kind of sucks in and gets stuck because you have to keep bumping up against this same frequency. Your body, your life, all of this will start showing signs of it. You have been growing, Lillian, and now your body wants to breathe. And every time it starts to breathe normal, other people get affected, not in a bad way. They just can't control it. So then their energy shrinks, their energy changes, but you had nothing to do with it. You have every right to own your space. You have every right to not just have your body, but the energies, at least the length of your arm. That's your space. That's your sphere. It's a bubble. You're meant to enjoy life. And so far, we've got to get you from living externally to living internally. They said that you have to look at helplessness because there's a part of you that's addicted to people that are helpless. It's like you get sucked in. And that's part of that program, they said. And it's 11? Okay, so something happened at 11. And what is the other age? I don't know how old you are. Is this the future? I don't know, Lillian. I have no idea how old you are, but you're beautifully young to me. But they said pay attention to something that happened at 43. Now, is this hers? The energy on the inside? Outside. The energy on the outside in her aura changed. For the better? No, for the worse. What happened? She created a lot of self-imposed limitations. I can't go there because I'm a female. I can't go there because they said so. I can't go. I can't do this. You have to readdress what is it that you've put a limitation on based on other people. And because you have to change that decision. You have to go in and you can EFT that out and look at that decision and learn to change that limited decision. Because that's not you anymore. Flat out, it's not you anymore. You're ready to change big time. You're fighting with yourself. So it becomes a heart meridian issue. So you can't get that coherency. Lillian, one of the things I will tell you is to do L1D because you can't change your limitation because you got to fight with yourself to stay there. And MD, left wrist, third position, nice and deep. Push that thumb in. That's what I would tell you. Okay. Nicole Marie Simpson says, a spirit relationship, new beginnings. Nicole Marie Simpson. Now, hopefully she'll come in. If not, we'll timestamp that if you don't mind, Ames. And you can't see it probably, but it's 1:30, 1:28 or whatever.
Okay.
Now, any of you want a 1-minute read for free? Write your question, send it to Medicine Woman Solution, MWS, the number 4, the letter U, at dr.com. Wow, I feel, wait, before I start. Yes, I have started to do as a routine. So Lillian says, yes, good. Okay, I know I have to protect myself. Yes, I agree. They feel like she's not to be, yeah, you have to be okay. This is where we can get too emotionally sad. You need to heal that out because this is where the soul is asking for respect. Nicole, there you are. Embarrassed, and the word embarrassed with the D. If that rings true, you need to let me know. Because embarrassed seems to be something that's very strong. Now, my right leg is shaking like crazy. I feel a restriction inside my chest. And it is the act of being vulnerable. Now, is this something that she's got to learn to be vulnerable? Is this something that she already did? So the idea of being 15, we're hitting the teen years this time. 15, the act of being vulnerable. You couldn't cope with something. and you bumped into somebody that had no empathy, and it was their way or the highway. And ever since then, the repulsion compatibility, the compatibility with people have always been to push them away. And on the scale, is it in a positive or negative? It's a positive, so it's a positive 6. So you should be a positive 10. So it's not as strong where some people repel people continuously. This is a it's like all of a sudden you'll start to get close, and then you'll feel something inside of you and you'll pull away. Or is this based on, no, just look at 43. I don't think you're that old. Nicole, sweetheart, I don't know why they're saying 43. If you give me how old you are, I can tell you if that's past or the future, because they're not giving me that. They just keep telling me it's very strong. It's very strong. And if I asked, is there a pattern before that? Yes. When you were 1 week old. Really? And that changed the vibration. Okay. So when did you have that incompatibility? Are you saying at 4 or 3 or 43? She's okay. So she's 44. So whatever happened last year, there's something very distinct they keep going around about with. Because now all of a sudden my head wants to go dizzy. It's like a checkout process. It's like the only way I can relate to this analogy wise is I'm trying to write my dissertation, and then all of a sudden all this information comes in, and it's not even overwhelm. I don't even get to feel that. It just feels like I'm already there, and I just I don't even want to participate. So are you doing this with a person in your life? Yes. How many? 1. Do they embarrass you? No, they embarrassed. They made you. They like to do this to you. So there's somebody that's doing a particular behavior. Are you even aware that they do this to you? For instance, that's the one you want me to go with. When you begin to wake up from this paradigm, a particular paradigm where it says women are the butt of the joke, blonde hair people are butt of the joke about people. Let's say you are that blonde haired person and you hear the jokes. You're going to receive it different than a brown haired person would receive the joke. But yet at the same time, it's also insulting for a woman. And any woman usually will begin to, if you're not woke up, you'll just laugh at it because it's funny. But when you begin to wake up, you realize it is meant to be derogatory and harmful and hurtful, because it's not a joke as much as it meant to condemn and hurt. There's a difference between a joke and intentional hurting. And sometimes I feel like in a relationship or where you're at or whatever experience you had, you begin to notice that it was no longer just playful. It was serious. Something serious occurred. Now, we understand that. Does she have a good future? Hell yes. They said that you're learning that you don't need egotistical people in your life. You're learning the difference between certain behaviors, like in narcissistic behavior, gaslighting, man-explaining. But what you're doing is you're weeding out what is no longer you. And they said that the repulsion is going to stay in play until you heal it, or it's helping you to some degree to not fall for the wrong person. So if you look at it that way, instead of what an ego person would do and go, oh my God, I just can't seem to find a date, or I can't find somebody that loves me. Oh, what am I doing wrong? It's not that. In your case, you do need to eventually heal this. It may heal up on its own, but it's a safeguard to say you're done with that. You're not attracting that shit anymore. You have no idea how much you're attracted to certain parts of them, but they're no longer healthy for you. When that happens, your attraction factor hasn't quite caught up with Nicole. Nicole's spiritually growing, beginning to learn those lessons. But the attraction factor goes, oh, but they insulted me, even though you don't realize that this is where you go back. The type of men that you had, who were they? Are they your mother? Are they your father? Are they your sister? What behavior did you see? What personality did you see growing up? That signature, you, Nicole, does not want in your life anymore because you're moving in a new direction. The old you, the ego part of you, is saying, and the subconscious mind is saying, but that's what I know. And see, it's comfortable, therefore I should have it. No. You haven't learned to stop being addicted to that. You haven't learned how to read that differently. You are meant to go into the unknown and explore differently because you haven't discovered these things about yourself yet. Ah, yes, fell for someone having trouble getting over it. Yes, and the reason you're having trouble getting over it is because there's something that they're doing that reminds you of somebody that you loved as a child, and you are in love with that part when you're a child. It has nothing in, and so if I look, oh, well, you're just obeying the fact that you have to contract your energy. Suck it in. Like behave you have to behave. So yeah, you are learning to expand your energy. So your growth process, thank you with grace and ease, spirit, because you don't need it as a bitch slap. It's an interesting growth spirit, but you're doing it, and then you're weeding at this point. It's a good thing. Okay, so if there's nobody else, again, you can send in. The reason why we say send it in is because I want to know you're serious, because sometimes people don't get to have the reading in towards the end. So I have one here from TP. Anything from spirit. And so TP, we're going to say anything from spirit for 1 minute read, and then we'll jump over to the other emails. TP. Do you want this deck? And you want... Okay. So in this case, they're actually asking for cards for TP, something to do with the environment in the home. You have a path that's opening itself up. And this particular path is saying that it's, you're ready. It's opening up. It's there. The mirror's there, but it's seeing it a little bit differently to help you see this path. So is it a path switch? Is it a path switch? No, it's getting close to a path switch. Means you're still on your path, but you have new avenues opening up, but you're not supposed to jump onto the new path yet. You have a new reality that's unfolding. And what we've got here is the universal wisdom. So you're learning how to tap into that universal wisdom that is there for you. Let me just finish this up. Wisdom awaits your experience and application. Wisdom carries for you release and growth. Wisdom grows from experience, and the difference for every individual. Okay, wisdom is not knowing. It is the understanding. Wisdom is guiding you and opening to greater mysteries of the universe. Okay, so you are at that stage that here you are, and you're ready. You're ready to say, why did I have this mother? Why did I have these brothers? Why did I have this teacher? Why did I have this life? And you're going to start getting the wisdom, and you'll get less out of the emotion, and you're going to get into the more of the connecting the dots and the knowing, like what I say, that's part of the knowing. And you're going to not take it as personal as much, and you're not going to stay as addicted as much. It means you won't want to keep producing the same chemical peptide. All right, Ames.
Okay, Patricia Henson, anything?
All right, Miss Patricia Henson, anything. Now, the idea of your husband is that there's an overwhelmed energy that seems to be affecting you. What action should you have? Well, first of all, you need to say, what do I need to heal and finish up so that this person can go? And there is some unfinished business, from what I can feel. On the outside energy is that a feeling of indifference. And they said that they want you to change the way you feel indifferent, because you're doing this so you don't have to feel a particular pain. But they're saying that this is not healthy to have because it's covering up a sadness. And if you begin to look at the sadness and begin to heal the sadness, it'll actually help with the husband, because then that sadness can actually be addressed. And there's a part of you that said, I need to check out first before he checks out, if that makes any sense. But if you actually begin to heal that, the emotion first, the indifference, which is an emotion first, then you're going to be able to break that cord that keeps this lingering effects. All right, Ames.
Okay, Rachel
Cowley. Yep.
Any messages from spirit, please?
Okay, Rachel Cowley. Any messages from spirit? Your body keeps doing a particular thing over and over, Rachel. And one of the things that it keeps telling me that it's doing is that it feels awkward. And the energy in your etheric body keeps pulling in people that have big, huge, expanded energies, like having big egos or big, full of life. And they say that that's happening because there's a part of you that disapproves of yourself. And if I say, are you aware of that? And they go, not really. But if she listened, then you can understand that at age 12, you said, I have to disapprove of my physical image, because that's what humans do. This is what everybody does. And it's like, so now you're following the crowd. But there's a part of you at one point that actually enjoyed your body, that thought it was good. And they're saying that to take that next step into the future with yourself is you have to look at how you address your body image. All right.
Okay, the next one is Lenny.
Oh, Lenny. Okay.
Yeah, our Lenny. Why has past lover or ex-boyfriends have apologized for treating me badly? Now only seeing my self-worth.
Why are they apologizing? Is that what I'm getting?
Why are they apologizing to her now, and only now seeing herself, or seeing how much she's...
Gotcha. Got you. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. I'm just a little positive thing. When you begin to seriously heal yourself, okay, I went in and I started to really heal parts of myself. One of the things is that I actually decided I'm done with one of my exes, and I said, I'm done. I'm done with this emotions. I'm done with this, because it was very abusive. And I healed a particular thing out. And one of my teachers told me, be careful if you don't heal, they're going to come back into your life. So I went and made sure that I healed out my heart of that I couldn't forgive them, or I couldn't forgive myself. I can't remember. It was something about forgiveness. This is before I had these tools. And I really started healing it out. And all of a sudden, bam, I get a phone call from my ex. And he says to me, I am so sorry. And he says, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking you to understand. I understand what I did to you, and I'm sorry for what I did to you has done to me. And he says, I need to right the wrong, and I want to at least tell you I acknowledge it and I understand. And then he hung up. I asked my teacher. My teacher told me, you've healed something so much that the reflection is telling you that it's okay. You're okay. You can see your self-worth now, because at that moment you were driving yourself nuts that they couldn't see it. In a mirror aspect, you couldn't see it. But you've grown, you've become stronger, maybe mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, in some level, you've come stronger in many different ways. And for the first time, you get to see yourself, and you have that self-esteem rising. As that self-esteem rises, people are going to see your worth because you already know your worth. There's a difference because you're starting to know, hey, I have this, you've got this, and there's nothing wrong with having confidence. Okay? When I look a little bit further into the question is, why is it they just now seen my self-worth? And first of all, there's a party that's worried about this. They're asking you to take that next little layer that you've got and notice by looking and questioning that, you're checking your safety issue, not your stability issue. You're okay with it. Not your security issue. You're okay with it. But the safety issue. You're worried because you're afraid that you're going to fall into old patterns and that you're not going to be able to trust yourself again because you've hit the point of the creating a certain amount of chemicals that make you trust. And you're like, but I'm not going to fall for that shit again. But when you begin to open that heart and you get those chemical peptides of joy coming through, this is where you have to ask for discernment. And this, you have to ask Spirit, show me how to create healthy boundaries, because there's a part of you that needs to heal worry. Because you've already grown from it, but you feel deprived. And that creates a vacuum. And that's why you're worried that you're going to start sucking in the old shit again. So R2S on that, Lenny. Right wrist, second position. Nice and soft, dear. Anybody else, Ames?
Nope.
That's you. You're next. Amy's next. Amy, want one?
Sure.
All right, Ames. You've been evaluating yourself, and because they're showing me a kidney, and they're saying that you're feeling small and weak. And that's part of an old pattern, the child part of you. Now, I'm watching you. You're sitting in, your mother's owned the salon, yes? Hairdresser? Yeah. So yeah. You always sat in there, and was there always a bunch of people in there? Did you have a special spot in the corner or something? I see you by a window or something. Okay. They're saying you've had this happen to you before. So they're saying the vibration on the inside and the outside. So you'll get so excited and be attracted to all of that. I want to talk to people because there's this vibration, the adult talking. Don't worry about that. The adult talking constantly. Okay. And you didn't really get to develop. So is it true that you didn't really have younger kids your age most of the time? You've had older people as your friends?
I've never associated with people my age.
Okay. That's where they're going. All right, so you understand that part. They're talking about now you are going into a development. Your 12-year-old self. Wow, there's a lot of teen today. Okay, so your 12-year-old self feels like it's deficient in not having the foundation of when with younger kids your age at that time. So they said that you haven't really developed that particular foundation. I'll say, well, what is that about? What? You talking about? So you, instead of learning the issues between your age of yourself with your younger self, you learned your issues with you and an adult. What your takeaway is to punish yourself, but yet put on a face.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that now we understand where you're at. Now it's time to heal that, sweetheart, so that you can take that and become that new Amy and help bridge that younger part. Because she's telling me that she's having an issue right now. She don't quite get what's happening. And so while I take this next person, somebody just sent me money, I think. I gotta look. Yeah. Okay. So while I take Patricia Henson, I'm not sure why it came out to $7.66. That's bizarre. I never understand these amounts. Before we take Patricia, we'll take Tammy first. And Tammy says, I sent an email. So did you get the email, AIM? Oh, I'm looking for you up here, but you're down here. Duh. I moved the camera.
She must have sent it to you.
Oh. Hold on. Oh, she did. Any word from spirit. Okay. And after that, it'll be Patricia Henson. Amy, I want you to help this. Yeah, that's where we're going. I just went blind, Amy, so that must affect your eyesight. So when you're doing this, notice how much you did when you couldn't focus or whatever it is, but you're going to hold L3D. Feeling small. I feel like you were told you always felt small among adults. It wasn't just feeling small, but there is that too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so L3D. Okay, so you do that, and I'm going to take Tammy. And, is it hot in here? Rejection. Where are we going with rejection, Tammy? So what are you rejecting? You're rejecting something in particular. Really? All right, so you look in your world and tell me what you think it is. And there's some certain wisdom that you're rejecting. According to them, is that you're rejecting certain wisdom. And that means that you're going to repeat a particular pattern. And if I ask what it is that's happening, they said that it's about associating to being depleted with making you feel like shit. So you have a requirement to feel like shit 100%. And if you don't feel that quota, somebody else has to. So you have to feel like shit most of the time. So I want you to understand that R3S, if I gave you a point, R3S, right wrist, third position, nice and soft. I need you to focus on how that what I just said. So you will go there and hold that, because it's like you'll sit yourself right down in front of the freight train knowing that, yep, got to hit me. I don't want to repeat either, Tammy. Patricia, I think you're on this screen. Yep. All right, she says, yep, R3S. Okay, so Patricia Henson, if you guys are calculating like the odd Australian differences, sometimes it's just easier just to type in $9 and put in the code, because then somehow I get it less than what you pay for. Just let you know. It's not a big deal. Just letting you know. Patricia, what do you want to talk about, sweetheart? Where are you at? It's this screen I got to look at.
On YouTube.
What's that, hon?
She's on YouTube.
Yeah. So understand that I'll be doing shows during the week, but it'll be on my other pages. So you maybe want to become aware. I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing, but we'll be doing other things. While I wait for Patricia, because sometimes you never know. I mean, I know she's in a tough spot. There she is. Whatever spirit wants. Gotcha. And then when I come back, I see a 1-minute read. Okay. All right. There's a lot going on here. Oh, my God. My airway or her? Whose airway is closing off, Patricia? Because the gallbladder meridian is affecting this. It's controlling it. Fear is controlling this particular thing. I don't know who this is, but fear is controlling it. That's closing off the airway. All right. We're just going to say, bringing in the carpet. That's all I've got to say. You're being called to the carpet. Jesus. Okay. Now, that's taken care of. Jesus. Worry. Worry of who I'm going to become. Worry what it'll be like without. Okay, when you've been with somebody for so long, your identity becomes very meshed with that. Other people, other things, other places. Who will you be without those particular identities? It's like when my building burnt and I lost all my stuff, they weren't just my things, they were my identity. And when you can't touch that identity anymore, it becomes, where does your energy go? What becomes of you? And it's hard for you to switch to letting go to adapting, because your brain is saying, this is what I know. This is what I'm addicted to. This is what, even if it's not healthy, it still is. Who will you be is what they're saying. And you have to be careful of when you worry and fear, because you attract shit into your world. If you're going to worry, I want you to put your hand on your forehead. Okay, just like that, or like this, because I don't want you to pull in what I call goobers. And I don't want you to pull in bad stuff. You don't need to. It's a form of self-abuse. And this is what you did. You disciplined yourself as a child. And your way of disciplining yourself as a child is that you abused yourself. And that makes it so like you would pull away, or you don't think you're supposed to deserve you have it. But I feel like like when you don't get to that acknowledgement, you'll pull away. There's a part of you that's looking for certain acknowledgement, and when you don't get it, you pull away, because there's a part of you that's like, no, and you pull away. Well, that's good, Brenda. They're saying you're meeting up with your insecurity. And in the heart meridian, you're holding on to, like, for instance, a particular behavior. And in the heart meridian, you can have rapid mannerisms in speech, inappropriate laughing, or all of a sudden the lack of emotion where you need it. And they said, with this particular feeling, this is what causes you to do this self-abuse, which then causes you to feel like the security is not there. And then it goes into hopelessness. So there's this particular pattern you do. And they're just crying out for a healing, because it is just a pattern. You haven't learned how to act or behave after that. And they said that something happened at age 23 that had caused you to feel like you just can't have it. There's just something that you just can't have it. And now all of a sudden, certain things will distract you. Certain things will annoy you, and you won't understand. So I know that this is going to sound strange, but I got to stop this, because this is a clue. When you're living your life and you look up, something don't make sense. And then you inquisitive about it, but you don't really ask. You just let it slide. So I look up and I see that somebody has an angry face instead of a happy face. And I look up and it says it's Amy Jensen that's not happy.
What?
This is where communication gets screwed up. If you look, instead of hitting a happy face, you hit an angry face. So
I didn't hit a face. Period.
No, I want you to understand this is about communication. So when you're looking at something, it may not make sense to you, but don't go running to the conclusion or assuming or. So this is an example that spirit is trying to show you. Now she's like going, you look at her face, she's like, what? Huh? Mouth is dropped open. And she can't figure out how to correct it. It's not working. But again, we're not done with this yet. So She didn't intentionally mean to do that. Now, some people say, wait. Deep down inside, it's like when you're, what is that, Amy? When somebody's drunk and they tell the truth? Is that how that goes, I think, or something like that? So that's supposed, Freudian slip or something like this. But I know she didn't intentionally do that. So now if I ask Spirit, did she intentionally want to do this? No. It was supposed to be the example. So thank you, Amy, for playing along, for helping Patricia here. So sometimes when people do shit, it can hurt. I didn't take it that way, but I could have. But you're supposed to transform out of, she can't fix it. She's like, what the hell? So the point is that you look at your reaction. You don't realize you're doing a certain reaction. I ask, what is she doing? A certain reaction. And they're asking you, have you ever noticed that you could act mean as a reaction? And that's part of your identity. You may not be aware of it, but when you get very close to somebody and you take the stages of that relationship to the next level and the stages to the next level, you can develop, like I said in the beginning of the show, you can develop bad habits of thinking that they're thinking something else. And therefore you jump to the conclusion, and therefore you go into an emotion, and therefore this happens. And you eventually will build this up, and this is how you're going to act to them every time. And it creates the relationship to be off balance. They're saying, have you anywhere along the way felt that it's okay, that you can just act mean in whatever sort of way that you're doing it to somebody that's receiving it as acting mean, even though, yeah, Patricia says, yes, I do that. Okay, so your soul is asking you to turn. Okay, I don't even know why I even got the timer, because I keep forgetting to turn it on. They're asking you to address this. Well, they're saying, oh my God. So no, that's not they're showing me your response. Come on, hold on. What do you want her to do? You told me this. This is your identity. Where do you, okay, so I'm going to turn the book. I'm going to go where they want telling me to. No, it's developed over time. I get it, that it becomes a bit bip and bop. No, that's not it. They behave, you behave. They behave, you behave. You behave, they behave. If I feel they deserve it. Okay. That's that behavior thing. So it becomes one of these things that just becomes a natural response. Now, how do people deserve? And you need to question that within yourself, because your sixth chakra in the back says the ability to carry out ideas in a practical way and so your sixth chakra in the back is kind of like blocked. This is where I would take a bobble wand and I would actually start to cleanse and clear out that sixth chakra. And they said that the integration of your old identity with the new wisdom that you have coming in are kind of clashing. So you intentionally look towards yourself, and what do you do to yourself? Hold on. You feel that security is not as strong. Before you thought, I can do this. This is the way it is. And you had security. That particular behavior is changing for you. So how do you judge, or how do you use discernment to find out if somebody deserves it? That becomes a big question. Because when you're in a spiritual relationship, it's about not about deserving. It's about following the energy to what it is that needs to play out. Where are you going? Give her a card. This one? Give her a card. Let's give you a card. One that apparently, well, already. Choices. When you accept responsibility is the ability to respond. It's how you, as your willpower, your soul, your choices to respond. So it's your ability to respond for your life and the choices you make. You begin to tap into the power of your own spirit. Because you're doing this, you don't need to do ego's way of responding. You'll be able to listen to and appreciate the intuitive wisdom that's inside of you and apply it positively and constructively to your own outside world. So that's what they're telling you, is that it's about choices. I actually liked how they picked that card. It's important to just take yourself slowly, begin to reevaluate when you do that behavior and say, do I really need to do that? Do they really deserve that? What makes me think they deserve that? Kind of learning to take that questioning to yourself in a whole new way. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go down, and I saw a Stephanie Parmalee. I'd like to know if I have any messages from my loved ones that passed away recently.
I'm still trying to figure that one out.
What? Oh, I know. Well, you can. You know how spirit shows up, sweetheart, and spirit will always talk to you. And it was teaching me to help her. You agreed a long time ago that you. What did you say today to me? I got your back.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, spirit says, okay, she volunteered today. See, so it's not about taking anything personal. It's just understanding something different. Okay, so this person, now, I'm using this deck because they pointed to the deck. They didn't want to talk and use certain words. I'm going to get certain emotions. So, just to make sure that this person, Stephanie, is here, just let you know. Timestamp for Stephanie is 2:06:40. They pointed to this deck. They said that they want you to understand, I see all your thoughts. Now, don't be creeped out by that, because they noticed that you're sad, you're everything, you're all this and that. They said that I have no more earthly worries. So don't need to go sit there and think about, oh God, I wonder if this, they're saying, watch your thinking. They got those thoughts. It's how you drop down into a particular feeling and emotion. They said, I will always point you in the right direction. So they're there. They're going to be one of your guides that is going to just open up to it. Now, if you're completely sad and heartbroken and any of this, I want you to understand, when I'm asking you to heal or resolve something, it is the pain. It does not get rid of them. It doesn't make it final to let them go. It is getting rid of the pain so that you can hear them, feel the love like I do. You can too. You begin to get onto that plane of existence. One more card from them. They says, I had to leave that way. And let me explain. A lot of people will die, and why would they want to leave that way? Well, because we're not closely comprehended on a humanistic level. But you ever seen Groundhog Day, and how many times that guy chose to die in different ways because he knew that he can't die. So because he knows he can't die, he's just going to constantly, okay, I'm going to get hit by a truck today. I'm going to jump off a cliff. He gets to the point where this is what your soul does. The soul says, oh, I'm going to try it this way. And then sometimes you're supposed to leave meaning for the people. Like when 9/11 happened, all these people died because they were meant to help shove the paradigm of the world into a new direction. There's a purpose for this sometimes that we do things. But in our ego and our not understanding the soul, it can be very painful. It can be very, you can make it worse than what it really is. And sometimes it can be very simple of what it really is. Now, Ames, do you have anything else?
I don't believe so, but let me
Okay.
check.
So we'll just check one more time if there's anybody present that's here. If you want a 1-minute read, you go ahead and let me know. I'm looking at the board. And if you want a paid reading before I leave, do so now. And then that way we can, otherwise we'll just wrap it up. Just double checking. I thank you for sharing. I thank you for, giving this message out to people that maybe that want it, that need it, that would help them grow. Beautiful to see your all faces. I'm ready for the 2020 with you. I'm ready to teach you how to become a spiritual human, how to become more awake and more spiritual into a direction where you don't have to be so much into that heavy nature of the negativity, and letting the shadow self be, more than what it is. You get to learn in a very stronger way of being. Oh, good. Okay, good. All right. Well, Stephanie said thank you, and Patricia Hinson said thank you, and I have no idea why I just did that to my boobs. That was very funny. Sometimes you just don't know why you do certain things, so that was bizarre. I have no idea why. It's for somebody out there. It's like Clue or something. I don't know. You guys are great. Now, I don't know if I'm doing a show Wednesday. I may or may not, because isn't that New Year's or something? New Year's Day? I don't remember.
Well, it's New Year's Day for you, but it's 31st for us.
Okay, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I may pop in. Like I said, I'm going to reset. I have no idea what any of this means. I just know classes are coming. I know that I'm supposed to go to my other pages to start to evolve those as well. And so if you're on there, great. Share away. That would be, that helps out, because you get to learn more. And you get to have me in a different way, in a different channel, but you get to have me. Okay, I think we're good. Everybody looks good. I love you all. And until next time. So I always say resolve to evolve and heal instead of deal. And there's one more I always say. Oh, heal. No, I already said that. You can heal that. But anyway, stay blessed. And so now I will end it. If I find the right buttons. Oh, that wasn't good. Hello. Oh, you're saving some coins for us. Oh, yay! Good job. And okay.